Can I have your attention for a moment? Listen.
It's like you can give your time, your talent, your testimony, and be a philanthropist. So I really wanted to get those diverse voices out there, people of color, Black people, Filipino people.
This is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today, your media hub for all things Black entrepreneurship, politics, news, and events in Hampton Roads and beyond.
When I say black, y'all say Wall Street. Black
Wall Street.
Black Wall Street. When I say black, y'all say Wall Street. Black.
Welcome to the 65th edition of Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham. This edition is brought to you by Abena Afora Clothing Store and Salon for all your African fashion and natural hair care needs. I'm very excited about today's show, which focuses on giving and innovation, two areas that are extremely pertinent to the Black community. In fact, when we founded Black Brand as the third iteration of the Black Chamber of Commerce for the Hampton Roads region, we founded it around the principle of group economics. So this notion that if we practiced circulating the dollar in our community in the same fashion as other communities, we could truly build stability and in turn build wealth. So today we have a very practical example of what that looks like. Joining us first is Vivian Oden. She is the Vice President for Special Projects at the Hampton Roads Community Foundation, where she leads the foundation's work on diversity, equity, and inclusion. She spearheaded Hampton Roads' first celebration of Black Philanthropy Month, in 2018. Recently, she co-created Unmasking Hampton Roads, a 3-part learning series designed to help residents of the region take off their masks, be candid with each other about race and racism, and work together to make our communities more equitable and inclusive spaces for everyone. Vivian comes to this work after years at the Community Foundation. She was the Director of Donor Services until being promoted in 2019. And before joining the foundation in 2006, she was a project manager and webmaster at Liberty Tax Service and the youth coordinator at the Unitarian Church of Norfolk. Vivian earned an undergraduate degree in business administration as well as a master's degree in public administration with a concentration in nonprofit management from Old Dominion University. She's a graduate of Lead Hampton Roads and the Council on Foundation Career Pathways program, and she was named to Inside Business Top 40 Under 40 in 2018. What an honor to have you, Vivian.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
No, I appreciate you being here and, of course, the great work that you have done and are doing now with the Hampton Roads Community Foundation. So let's start there. What is the foundation? How does the foundation work? What does it do?
Yeah, so the Hampton Roads Community Foundation was established in 1950 as the first community foundation in Virginia. And now we're currently the largest grant and scholarship provider in Southeastern Virginia. We give out grants and scholarships, and we've given out about $282 million in grants and scholarships we've been established. So donors entrust us with their funds from all walks of life, and we set up those funds through donor advised funds where donors can advise throughout their lifetime, or unrestricted fund where the donor is allowing the foundation to make decisions through our community grant program. Okay. We also have designated funds where the donor can designate a particular organization, and that organization gets a check every year. They don't have to do anything but just continue to do great work in the community. And so many people know us from our grants and scholarships, but we also have initiative work that we have been doing for years. We've been doing work in early childhood education and workforce development and entrepreneurship. We've also been doing work around racial equity, which is fairly new to the foundation.
Mm-hmm. I think that's how I found out about you guys. You really kind of turned up that spotlight on that race piece. So I love it.
Yes. Yeah. That's something fairly new to us. We wanted to be proactive in that space. We realized that history, many times people don't know the history, don't know about racism, different laws that have impacted us to where we are today. So the foundation really wanted to have people learn more about the laws around racism and then also come together now and have different conversations. You mentioned Unmasking Hampton Roads, which is something recently that we've done. And we did that in October and November, and just bringing people together to have conversations, to hear different perspectives. Many times people might have different experiences, but that can change your whole thinking around how you look at race, how you look at racism, how you look at disparities in education or health or wealth. health.
Absolutely.
So it was really important to bring people together to be able to engage in that aspect. And then we also do civic engagement forums around mental health, disconnected youth, workforce development. So we're doing a lot more work.
A lot more outreach.
Yes.
I love it. Can you tell me, how was the Unmasked series received? Was it pretty popular?
Yes, it was really well received. We had the first one in October in Virginia Beach, and then we did a second one in Portsmouth. And people were just excited. We had people saying, are you going to do an Unmasking Peninsula? Are you going to do something on the peninsula?
That's always good.
Yes, because many times people will live on the south side but work on the peninsula, or vice versa. So they're like, how are you going to engage the peninsula on this?
Yeah.
How are you going to engage youth? They wanted more youth involved in the process. One thing that we did do was we worked with ODU, Norfolk State, Tidewater Community College, and some high school students to be table guides. So the first day, we posed the question to the attendees, when was the first time you were aware of race or racism? And we had table guides, youth, being able to lead those conversations, which was powerful. They were able to guide adults in that conversation. So we tried to engage the youth, but we can bring more youth to the conversation. So it was very powerful, well received, and people want more conversations.
Yeah, I love that. Fantastic. And so tell us about this new Giving Circle work. So I believe it was an article in the Virginia Pilot, or maybe it was Inside Business, about your new Giving Circle initiative for the African American community. Say more about that.
Yes. So in 2018, you mentioned me spearheading bringing the first Black Philanthropy Month celebration. So during that year, I went through a leadership program through the Council on Foundations, and we had to do a project with many leadership programs that happened. And so I said, what am I going to do? What type of project am I going to do, and to really bring change for the community? So my project, Missing Voices in Philanthropy, it was really about engaging voices that people don't traditionally see as philanthropists. When people think about philanthropy, they think about Bill Gates. They think about people with a lot of money. They're not thinking about themselves as philanthropists. Like, you can give your time, your talent, your testimony, and be a philanthropist. So I really wanted to get those diverse voices out there, people of color, Black people, Filipino people, Asian Americans, other people from the Asian community, Hispanic community, to really put their voices out and let them be heard as philanthropists. So I did the Black Philanthropy Month celebration, brought in the Solar Philanthropy exhibit, which highlighted Black philanthropists. I also did a video of our Black fund holders highlighting their stories. So That's
innovative.
Yes. I felt like we really need to get those stories out, because many times people don't hear those stories. So it was really important to do that. The opening night of the Solar Philanthropy exhibit, which ran at the Slover Library for 2 weeks, we had a panel discussion. On that panel was Valeda Footwood, who is the co-creator of the Solar Philanthropy exhibit. She is also part of a founding member of the Black Giving Circle in Charlotte, North Carolina. So that concept of giving circles came up. And people are like, what is this whole giving circle? So I had conversations with Black community and civic leaders about the idea of bringing a Black giving circle to Hampton Roads. Something new, something to engage people in philanthropy, something to engage people in endowments. Many times people see philanthropy as one traditional way. People don't understand how endowment works. So I thought it was very important to bring endowment.
Have you break that down as well. So I'll let you finish your thought, but then we'll come back to specifically, what is an endowment? How does it work?
Okay, sure. So it was just really important to engage the Black community around that. And so we did this August for Black Philanthropy Month. We announced Visionaries for Change, which is the Black Giving Circle, where people bring their funds together. They pool that in an endowment fund, and then they're able to make decisions around giving and supporting causes in the Black community. They're able to have a voice at the table in philanthropy that many times that voice is missing. And so this gives them an opportunity to do that. And so we have several members in the community, founding members that came on board. I've come on board as a founding member, but we have people like Vice Mayor Jimmy Gray from Hampton, Sheriff Gabe Morgan from Newport News.
Randy Williams from Tally and Twine.
Yes. Dr. Britt, Valerie and Bishop Kim Brown. So we have a lot of people that came on and they said, leveraging our funds together. To start a fund at the foundation is $25,000. Not everyone has that, or not everyone is willing to give that up.
Right.
So, but you
can't see the value in that.
Correct. Yeah. But you still can be engaged in philanthropy, and this is a way of doing that. And so people can learn more about Visionaries for Change on visionariesforchange.org.
Okay.
To learn more, they can still come on as founding members by the end of the year. They still have time.
Okay. Good.
So,
okay. Man, I want to ask more about that, but let me jump to this. Let's talk about what an endowment is, what it means. And big focus here is education, right? So we know people are trying to figure out how do they leverage their money. What's an endowment? School us.
Yes, I'll school everyone. So an endowment fund is really bring your funds together in an endowment where that endowment grows. So you are investing it however you invested in. So we use Spider Management for our investment out of the University of Richmond. So you invest those dollars, and then the idea is for the dollars to grow. But you're still able to spend off money and give money to an organization that you care about. So as your endowment grows, 10 years from now, you might have started off the endowment with $50,000, let's say. 10 years from now, it could be at $150,000 or $200,000, depending on the investment. But you're still able to give off $20,000 or whatever amount that you're able to spend off over the years. So it really helps.
So what makes it different than just a savings account or an interest-bearing account? Why we applied the term endowment to it? Is it because it goes to a specific cause? Is it because, how does it work, I guess, mechanically?
Endowment is more long-term in the charitable sense, in the charitable causes. So it's thinking about using that money to be able to give to a nonprofit organization. Gotcha. So many times nonprofits come to donors, and that donor might not want that nonprofit to know who they are, so they're able to stay anonymous. And it's about leaving a legacy. Okay. It's about having money go on for years.
Gotcha.
I think about estate planning is another thing that many times in the Black community, we are not doing well. I was reading an article, Black Enterprise, 50% of African Americans do not have a will. And so I think about the generational wealth that is being lost and not accounted for because we don't have it. So if you're owning a business, if you own a home, where's that wealth go when you go on and you haven't set up a will? So when you're thinking about endowment, you're thinking about long-term, you're thinking about legacy. What do you want your legacy to be? You're able to name that endowment, so it'll have your name. So let's say you want an endowment named after Blair Durham.
Oh, goodness gracious.
You're able to do that.
Yeah.
And be able to designate where you want those funds to go.
Got it. Wow, I love that. In the event that you've just tuned in, this is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today. Vivian jogged my memory that I should say that. We're chatting with Vivian Oden, who is the Vice President for Special Projects at the Hampton Roads Community Foundation, having a conversation about giving and the Visionaries for Change newly minted giving circle. You indicated that there's still time to become a founding member.
Yes, so it's still time to become a founding member. We have founding members that have already committed different levels. So at the leadership level, they committed $5,000 a year for 3 years. Individual, $1,000 a year for 3 years. And couples, $1,500 a year for 3 years. And so this is still new. So, but as a Giving Circle member, they will be able to decide where those funds are going to, what causes and organizations in the Black community that they want to support. So they're still able to do that. So they can go online, visionariesforchange.org, to learn more, to see all of our other founding members. We have about 55 founding members already.
Fantastic.
So, and people are excited about what this means for Hampton Roads.
They should be. We've got a few more minutes. What other initiatives pertinent to the Black community is the foundation either working on now or intending to work on? You want to share any other thoughts there? Or share with us maybe some of the long-term projects that the Giving Circle is looking at supporting. Have there been any conversations there yet?
So we're still new with Visionaries for Change. And so at the leadership circle level, trying to really decide what that looks like as far as the structure and everything with the Giving Circle. And then we'll be able to decide as far as funding. So the whole idea of an endowment fund, you want the funds to grow so you'll be able to make a bigger impact in the community, being able to put more dollars out there. So we're still early, still in the planning phases with Visionaries for Change. As far as the Hampton Roads Community Foundation and the work that we're doing, racial equity is huge for us. We have an equity statement. I know I don't have time to read that, but
yes, you do. You have an equity statement?
Yes.
Okay, so now I got to put you on the spot again, right? Because I'm big on definitions. Equity versus equality. What's your take?
So I'm going to go back to something I heard at the Unmasking Hampton Roads event, and one of the panelists defined equity and equality, and I really liked how it was defined, and said equality is giving everyone a shoe, and equity is giving everyone a shoe that fits. And I think that's so powerful. And I really liked the panelists that mentioned that. I think it was Lavelle White, who is an educator, that had that definition. So that just sticks with me. And I think it's so powerful because many times people get equality and equity mixed up. And they're not the same thing.
Share the equity statement, please.
Okay, so I'm going to read the equity statement with the Hampton Roads Community Foundation. So we believe that racial equity is essential to the success of our region and its people. We further believe that advancing a more equitable and inclusive community is core to the mission of the Hampton Roads Community Foundation. Race has long held a defining place in American society. It is embedded in our culture, laws, and policies, educational institutions, and economy. The result is a system of racial bias and inequities that limits opportunities for people of color. If left unchallenged, such structural racism threatens our future. To be sure, this system is bigger than the Hampton Roads Community Foundation and the region. It is nonetheless a powerful force pushing against a thriving community with opportunity for all, what our community foundation envisions for the people of Hampton Roads.
Yeah, all of that, snaps, everything. Wow, okay. So talk a little bit, as we've got just a couple minutes left, about how you can be contacted, how folks that are just looking to connect to initiatives by the Hampton Roads Community Foundation can find out more.
Yes, so you can go on our website, hamptonroadscf.org. We also have an event coming up on January 21st in partnership with Norfolk State University, Old Dominion University, and Virginians for Reconciliation, where we're going to bring descendants from the cases of Dred Scott and Plessy versus Ferguson to really talk about laws and how laws have impacted our society around racism. So that event is at Norfolk State Wilder Center on January 21st at 7 p.m. If people are interested, they can go once again to our website, hamptonroadscf.org. If you want to learn more about Visionaries for Change, you can go to visionariesforchange.org.
Visionariesforchange.org. Just making a note because I'm going to reiterate that later in the show. January 21st at 7 p.m. at the Wilder Center, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And what's the name of that event?
It is around Sons and Daughters of Reconciliation. It's around Dred Scott case and Plessy versus Ferguson.
Sons and Daughters of Reconciliation.
Yes.
I need to try to be at that. Okay, awesome. Awesome. And then visionariesforchange.org for people that might be interested in becoming a founding member this year, just learning
more about Visionaries for Change. We are excited. We have a lot ahead of us, and we're excited about the work that we can do in Hampton Roads. If not a founding member, they can still come on as an annual member in January as well.
Okay. And say I'm interested in creating a new endowment through Hampton Roads Community Foundation. What kind of process is that?
So I have some colleagues that are in development, and so they will walk them through the process. If they have a professional advisor that they work with, they can go and work with a professional advisor. So that is a way that, so Kay Stein, she is our vice president for development. They can call her contact information, hamptonroadscf.org or 757-622-7951 if they want to talk more about an endowment fund and what that means and setting that one up personally or for their organization.
Love that. 757-622-7951.
That's correct.
To reach Kay if they're interested in creating an endowment fund. Wouldn't it be awesome? I know I was speaking with Sharice.
Yes.
And she was saying that of the many thousands of funds inside of Hampton Roads Community Foundation, there are very few that are specific to the Black community that were set up by, Black founders, etc. So what an awesome initiative just to see many more funds being set up, right?
Yes.
Many more endowments. When I think about a Norfolk State University, for example, needing more endowment, I feel like that's up to us to do, whether we've attended Norfolk State or not. You know what I mean? To create that opportunity. So I'm super excited about the work.
Thank you. Yes, I think it's so important, and I really want to educate people on endowment because I've served on nonprofit boards, and I just know how powerful endowment could have been for different organizations that might have had closed because they didn't have the funding. So you talk about Norfolk State and thinking about other HBCUs out there, how an endowment fund they can benefit from. Many universities that have endowment fund, they have focus on that endowment is growing, and they're doing great work at that university. So just to be able to keep that legacy on at that university, having that endowment, having people support that, thinking about long term, I think it's really important. So yes,
very important.
The power of endowment is important, and I really push that a lot because people really need to know about that.
I love it. Well, Miss Vivian, that is just about our time. It's been a pleasure having you on. I certainly hope to have you back as the Giving Circle grows to talk about, the awesome things that you all have undertaken. This has been a pleasure.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me today. It's been a pleasure, and I look forward to hopefully coming back.
Yes, we will make it happen.
All right, sounds good.
We'll be back in just a moment.
When the conversation is good and the friends are even better, you'll find a wine that brings it all together. Shoe Crazy Wine. Remember that name. Shoe Crazy Wine. Available at Costco, Kroger, and these other fine retailers.
Peace. I'm your brother Crump. I have a new podcast called Snatched. Sorry.
You're about to get snatched.
It's the best of my YouTube channel, From TV.
You're listening to the Snatch Podcast.
In audio mastered format.
Snatch and run!
On Blueberry, Android, the Edgy Podcast, Stitcher, Digital Podcast, and Speaker.
Ever experienced what snatching is like?
And now, more Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham.
Welcome back to the 65th edition of Black Wall Street Today. It's time for a special edition of hashtag Add This to the List. We're sitting now with Miss Theresa L. Lucas. She is the founder and CEO of 4.0 Inventions LLC, an innovation and product development company. As an innovator at heart, Theresa has been a business owner and partner at Lucas Lodge LLC, which is an adult group home for persons with intellectual and developmental disabilities. Theresa has served Lucas Lodge for more than 2 decades, working in the capacity of Human Resources Director. Theresa works alongside her daughter, Nicole, who's the COO, and her son, Ryan, who is the CFO of 4.0 Inventions LLC. Theresa's also served her community as a political volunteer since 1984. Welcome to the show, Theresa. I heard that was a good year, by the way.
Yes, thank you, Blair, for having me on.
No, I'm super grateful to have you. And so I understand that you've developed a new innovation.
Yes.
That you're going to share with us today.
Yes.
I'm so excited to hear about it.
Thank you. Yes. Over time, I've never thought of myself as an inventor, but my father was an inventor, and he passed on in 2014. Wow. And it's a bug hit me a year later after my father's passing, and I just came up with all of these inventions and new innovations. And so I had always been a businesswoman who carried 2 cell phones, and I was like, okay, there has to be a better way to do this. And so I came up with the smartphone. It's called TNR. And it's a smartphone that is operable on both sides. It works on the front equally as it does on the back. And one side is for the personal use, and the other side is for business use, for business professionals. We looked at this as a play for executives and business people, but as we have done our research, it's also a huge play for the millennials. Mm-hmm. We just released our first pitch video
with RC. You guys did a phenomenal job with that.
Thank you. And we are excited. And we have a second video out, but we're not ready to release that one yet because we have to get some contracts and things of that nature signed. But I am really grateful to Simon Matthews, who did my videos from Open Door Media Solutions in Virginia Beach. Okay. But over the time, I was working with the Norfolk State Innovation Center, been in the incubation over there since February of this year. Okay. And just kind of worked and chipped. And
Nicosia, amazing.
Oh, she is awesome. And she is the one who introduced me to my now consultant, and I consider him as my mentor, Jim Franklin, who together. We have been talking with several people so we can get this product manufactured by mainstream manufacturers as it moves on to the distributors.
That's what I want to talk more about.
Yes.
Let's start with the process.
Yes.
I think a lot of us have something in our minds that we'd like to see in our hands, right?
Yes.
But you are figuring out how to do that.
Yeah, and Blair, is by no stretch of anybody's imagination is this an easy process. But you do have to believe in yourself enough to know that, okay, I've been given this thing and I'm going to run with it and I'm going to take it to the end. And so anybody who is out there interested, if you feel that you have an invention or something that you feel that is noteworthy, even it doesn't have to be on a larger scale on any level. See it to the end and make sure that you do your due diligence, do your research, and find out that if it's something that is could meet the market, that would be a viable product or a service or some type of training, and just making sure that you study, you learn, you connect with people. Networking is key. You have to get yourself out there, to get your brand out there, to connect with good people who can also lead you to other people who would be beneficial for you and your business.
Absolutely. Let me ask, do you have a prototype as of now?
Well, I have a digital prototype.
Okay.
I think, did Akoshia send you that second video?
I'm not sure.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like I've seen it.
Yeah, and we have a video which is a digital prototype, and it illustrate what the phone actually does. Because now a lot of my friends and coworkers and people just through social media has seen the first video, but they haven't seen the second video that we haven't released yet, simply because we're trying to get contracted out, and I just didn't want to give away too many trade secrets.
Absolutely.
But just so I will give a little bit of it away.
I mean, you got to at least talk about that hardware that would even make such a product viable, right?
Right. Well, we're going to be working with the mainstream industries because we're getting ready to be in talks with some folks so we can ascertain a licensing deal. And pretty much after that, they're going to just run with it. We will have probably very little control over it after that point. But as far as the phone itself, we have new technologies such as our panoramic camera, which will take a full 360 picture. While you're in any text mode, if you wanted to text your friend, it can now have the capacity to, inside of your text, to have a dictionary icon, unlike the auto check. It has a full dictionary, so you will be able to look up words within the texting module. You will be able to underline, italicize, bold, and highlight inside your text messages.
Oh, that's live.
Yeah,
I like that.
One last thing, I will go ahead and give this away. We have holographic technologies that we are going to bring to this new innovation, and this is something that is just so amazing. We've talked with so many people about this project over the last few months, and it seems like everybody is in love with it, and we're just ready to run with it and get to our next step.
We're talking about I can project the keyboard down.
You can project
in front of me and just type there instead of trying to get it all on the tiny screen.
That is correct. That is one of the features with it'll have kickstands on the phone where it actually sits up by itself, and then it will project a screen on any flat surface. Wow. But we also have holographic technologies in the phone where there should be an apparition that raises up out of the screen so you can have a holographic. So this is the next level. I mean, way out there.
It is.
And so we're
not that far out there.
And we're excited
not so
about
far
it.
that we're not going to be able to touch it.
No.
But far enough that it's like, oh, this is dope.
Right. So we're on our next step. So we're looking somewhere in the first quarter of next year, 2020, to get connected with all of the appropriate people that we need to get connected with as far as our manufacturers, so we can go ahead and get this innovation produced by the manufacturers and then distributed by the mainstream distributors.
I love it.
Yeah.
One thing that I've heard that is really an encouragement is the fact that you did not have to have this in hand, really.
No.
So a lot of times people get stuck at the prototyping.
Right.
But you went with a digital model.
Right.
You're going to be able to sell that
right.
to the distribution.
Right. And that was our easiest way to get the concept of the visual concept is through a digital imagery. And so we had,
and when you see it, I mean, it looks like it's really there.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so we, in the past, a couple of years ago, because we've been working on this since 2016, so this just is not an overnight thing.
Yeah.
But we were connected with some great people before. It just didn't pan out. And that's why you have to make sure that you keep pushing forward. Really, and we just found out some new ways to get what we needed to get done. And you have to think outside of the box. You have to make sure that you're putting in the work to find new ways and creative ways to get what you need to done completed. And so, that's what we did. We just chipped away at it and just made our dreams come true.
Love it. Before we go, I definitely want to kind of give some credence to the NSU Innovation Center.
Yes.
They're bringing aboard Jim Franklin.
Yes.
Talk about what you've been learning via his platform.
Oh, my Lord. Jim Franklin is, again, my consultant. He took me on in June of this year. But he brings so much knowledge, so much experience and expertise to the Innovation Center, helping out so many entrepreneurs, people with all kind of inventions, products, services, just to get them to understand what they need to do, what next levels that they should pursue next. He's going over money, marketing, just the whole gamut. There's nothing that he left unturned. I learned so much from this man. I was like, okay, wow. Glad you told me, because I didn't know these things. And it pushes the individuals who are going through the Innovation Center, and it pushed me to like, oh, okay, I didn't know this. And it gives you another platform to step on so you can get to that next level. But Jim Franklin has been very instrumental with helping the Innovation Center. He has courses and classes that he teaches. It's open to the public. Akosia, she's very nice and warm and kind and helpful. And she has her assistant there, Charlie, who they all help everyone. Making sure that...
And the timing of it, is what I'm thinking of.
Right.
The fact that this time last year, we barely had an innovation center, right? So they just kind of launched and bringing all these resources to bear so that folks like you and I can really take advantage of them. That is exciting.
It is. It is.
I feel like it is our time. One of the things that I talk about often is how our community is sort of not fully integrated within the entrepreneurship ecosystem here. ODU had a great thing going with their innovation center and all of this, and we were somewhat connected but not fully immersed. And I feel like the NSU Innovation Center has kind of closed that gap in a lot of ways.
Absolutely. It has closed the gap because just from my dealings with the Innovation Center, I love the NSU Innovation Center. And I've seen so many people come through there because I was the first one in February of this year. And then when they had the grand opening in April on Main Street in Norfolk, I was like, oh, wow, so many people are coming now. And it gave me a boost because I'm like, this is what is so needed. And it integrates us all together as a unit. And we get together, we network together and see how each other are doing, see what kind of services or any kind of help that we can help one another. So it's a family at the Innovation Center. And I encourage anyone who is stuck in what they're doing or can't figure it out or can't find a way to get something done, I urge them to participate with the Norfolk State Innovation Center, and they will not be dissatisfied at all.
Wow. And is it also serving as a co-working space for you as well? So you're able to...
Well, I do not work outside, inside of the Innovation Center, but there is certainly space there if someone should need to have a workspace. I believe they may rent spaces out, or you can go there and just work inside of the Innovation Center, ask for help or coaching or information on what's coming up, what kind of classes that are going to be offered or seminars for that matter, and connect you with other people who are also doing pop-up shops so you can help support them as well.
I love it. So is this the new direction, Theresa, or are you going to go back to Lucas Lodge, or what are you thinking? Do you have other inventions in your heart?
Well, yeah, that's a bittersweet thing because Lucas Lodge is my family business, and we were licensed in 1998, and I've been the human resource director over there since that time. But I am going to be venturing out. It's bittersweet, but it has to be done because this is a new chapter of my life. So I will, move away from that and segue into running my own business, 4.0 Inventions. My son, Ryan, who's out there in the lobby, he's the CFO.
We should have had Ryan.
And my daughter, she's back. She's also an RN. She's back at Lucas Lodge. She's doing some things there, but she's my COO. And so this is our chapter that we decided to embark upon. But again, I am an inventor. Did not know that I was until this part of my life, but I have 49 inventions all totaled.
Okay,
and
so we got to go through at least, 5 to 10 of them. Just share a couple of them.
Okay.
I mean, this is really encouraging.
Yeah.
Right?
So,
I just real quick, why I'm asking you to go here. We're absent in this space.
Right.
As it relates to STEM, as it relates to engineering, we're just not there. And so to hear you say, second career, you are an inventor.
Yes.
That's unheard of.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
It hit me. It blindsided me. So, but
you can talk too about what kinds of things your father was into, and how that exposure may have helped you.
Well, and it's unfortunate that I did not know that my father was an inventor. My father was not a boastful man. He was, very personal and private, and some things that he did not share. But he passed away the day before Father's Day in 2014, and then we found out he had patents and all of this stuff. I'm like,
wait,
what?
He had gone all the way to the extent of patenting?
Yes,
things?
some things he did. Yes, and I found this out, and I'm like, oh well, how ironic is this? So I guess it's in the blood. But
imagine that.
Yeah, and so I know he's in heaven smiling on me. But I have
really quickly. If you've just tuned in, this is Blair Durham with Black Wall Street Today, having a fascinating conversation with Theresa Lucas, who is the founder and CEO of 4.0 Inventions LLC. Not only is she patenting a two-sided cell phone, as if one side is not enough for those of us that need more, right? But she's going to talk to us now about some of the other inventions that she's come up with.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yes, a few. I have 49 different inventions, but the next one we're going to crank out is a gaming system. Yeah, and so we're trying to get into that competitive space with PlayStation and Xbox. So we have already formulated some plans for that to come to the forefront. That will be our next venture out.
Okay.
With all of my inventions, I reach across 6, maybe 7 different markets. And I'll be in several different spaces. So I didn't want to think that the phone was just a one-stop shop.
Yeah.
No, it isn't.
Right,
we have other
Apple over here.
Right. And we are developing games and gaming systems and outside gaming products that will also be a part of the gaming system as well.
Huge.
Yes, I have one invention that is, I call it a shoe coat.
Okay.
It's a shoe coat, and I've already worked on my patent drawings for the shoe coat. It's for women's shoes because I wear heels all the time.
Okay.
And so, you always have that place on the back of your heel where it's rubbed off, where I invented a coat to go over your driving shoe. And so it doesn't mess up the back of your shoes, the back of your heels, so it can stay intact. Really simple.
Is it for when you're wearing the shoe or for when you're not wearing it?
Well, the first patent drawings is for the one shoe that you're driving with because you're having it leaning on the rug and it's rubbing. But we're also...
So that's where that takes place?
Yes, it does.
See?
Yes.
Who
and
knew?
So...
Okay.
Me, because I wear heels all the time. And then we're also working on some decorative ones that you can wear outside of driving and things of that nature.
I love it.
And for babies, I have this invention called Bibs.
Okay.
And it will keep the milk when the baby is in a cradled position in the mother's or the father's arm, where the milk does not go around the baby's neck. So it's a coil in the bib, a coil in the neck of the bib that's absorbent, that will not allow the milk to slide down the baby's neck and chest and all things of that nature. And let me see. One more.
This to me sounds like the correct use of criticism.
Yes.
The correct application. It's
Right.
like, I'm a person who sees gaps in things,
Right.
but I'm also a person who creates solutions.
Yeah, and nobody wants to hold a milky baby.
No. They don't even start to smell good after a while.
No.
It's like, okay.
And so the last one that I will share is my smart steering wheel. Right, I know. And we're really not that far into it, but we have started developing the stages of the smart steering wheel, trying to get with some car manufacturers so they can implement the device, the steering with an actual, it would be our steering wheel, where you could put your fingerprint on there, like your thumb, or like the biometrics, which is used in phones nowadays, to whereas if someone even tries to take your car, it wouldn't start. And if you don't have your fingerprint there, it will not even be able to be hot-wired. So we're working on those technologies as well.
Beautiful.
Right.
Wow. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. So and we just have a barrage, because I'm like, I am not a techie. So if those folk out there who feel that I can't do this because I'm not a technology person, I'm not either. Just grab you up some good people and say, hey, help me with this.
Yeah, it sounds like you've built several teams in order to.
Yes. I've maneuvered to gather a great group of people around me who assist me in a lot of different things.
And so your piece, the role you play, is strictly...
I'm the thinker.
The thought leader.
I'm the thinker.
Wow. So you didn't draw for any of the patents, none of that?
No, I can draw because I am artistic. I found out at a young age that I could really draw. But the way the the United States Patent and Trademark Office is that they have to be professionally drawn at. So it has to be to scale on something. So it just can't be sketched. So in that aspect, I have my patent drawings done professionally, and then make sure that I get everything back to send to the USPTO for patenting.
Okay. Well, how's that process? We've got just a couple minutes.
Oh, my
what is
Lord.
it like
Jesus.
working with them? Just give us the real. I noticed that there are a couple of companies now that are kind of designed to help people to navigate that, because it's not the most user-friendly process.
It is not the easiest process
but it's worth it.
all. It is very worth it. And a lot of people, they see someone who has a patent and say, oh, I'm going to file for a patent. Well, yeah, the year that I filed for the patent for the smartphone, just for that space, 500,000 plus patents were issued for tech products. Out of that 500,000 plus, only 52 people received a patent, and I was one of those people. So it's not really easy, but you can go on the United States Patent and Trademark Office website. It's a government website, .gov, and fill it around. Do a patent search to see if what you think you have out there is something that is not already developed. Because just because you don't see it in a space that you feel that you fit in doesn't mean that it hasn't already been patented. So you would have to go on the United States Patent and Trademark Office and do a hard search, because Google is not going to do it.
Gotcha.
It's not the easiest website to manipulate, but there is a number that you can call. Anyone can call, and they will help you. And they will let you know what paperwork it is that you need. Because all the forms look the same to me. I'm like, hey, y'all, I need some help, because which form is it? Because they do look similar. And so I would tell them to start there and just figure out what you need to do. They will take your call. They will spend as much time with you on the phone
as you need.
And you can call back as many times as you want. But the patenting process is a difficult process. I'm not going to tell anybody that it's easy, but if you want it bad enough, you shouldn't have to worry about it. Gotcha. And if you believe in yourself enough, you'll dig until you get there. And that's what I did. And that's what we've been doing. I established my business in 2015, but we've been working on the smartphone since 2016, and here we are in 19. So, I just didn't stop. I just have that I will not be defeated attitude, and we're going to keep on until this develops.
That's beautiful. Mm-hmm. Wow. I was going to ask, how could you be reached? But I realized you're not going B2C, you're B2B in terms of your...
Well, not at this point. Yeah. We're still creating some websites and all these things of this nature, because by us getting a licensing deal for the smartphone, there's really nothing that we're going to have to do.
Right.
And so, but we're still building, because at some point we do plan on having our office space and hiring people and with that fit in our space, and start developing our own products, and so we won't have to outsource so many things, because I do plan to have a full development team and every nuance that goes along with it, so we can get it to the next level.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. Is there any social media in terms of how you can be reached, where people can follow and kind of keep abreast of your progress?
Yes.
As we're wrapping up?
Yes, we can. You can follow us on Facebook at 4.0 Inventions LLC, or you can follow us on Instagram at 4.0 Inventions LLC. Those are just only two platforms that we follow. You can follow me on my personal Facebook page, Theresa Lucas Lamb, on Facebook, and I'm also Theresa Lucas on LinkedIn.
Perfect. 4.0 Inventions LLC on Facebook and Instagram. Theresa Lucas Lamb on LinkedIn.
Theresa Lucas on LinkedIn.
Theresa Lucas, I'm sorry.
Theresa Lucas Lamb on Facebook.
Got it.
And 4.0 Inventions on Facebook and on Instagram.
Perfect. Theresa, wow, you just blew my whole mind.
Wow.
I'm going to be up all night thinking about how I can bring some of these ideas to market, right?
Yeah, it's easy. You can call me. I'll point you in the direction that you need to go. I'm helping a few people now to toggle through what they need to do. So, if information to me is free, because we always supposed to help someone else anyway.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Wow, I appreciate your heart. Thank you. I certainly, would love to have you back.
Thank you. I would love to come back.
As this licensing deal happens and we go mainstream with the product, I would love for you to share your story on the show again.
Absolutely. I would love to come back. And thank you so much for having me. I just was so warm to know that you would have me to be on your show.
Of course. I appreciate you being here.
When the conversation is good and the friends are even better, you'll find a wine that brings it all together. Shoe Crazy Wine. Remember that name. Shoe Crazy Wine. Available at Costco, Kroger, and these other fine retailers.
Peace. I'm your brother Crump. I have a new podcast called Snatched. Sorry.
You're about to get snatched.
It's the best of my YouTube channel from TV.
You're listening to the Snatch Podcast.
In audio mastered format.
Snatch and run!
On Blueberry, Android, The Edgy Podcast, Stitcher, Digital Podcast, and Speaker.
Ever experienced what snatching is like?
And now, more Black Wall Street Today with Blair Durham on Smooth 88.1 WHOV.
Welcome back to the 65th edition of Black Wall Street Today. We've had a fun time, and so I just want to share a couple of things to those of you who are solopreneurs. Maybe you have a vision like that of Miss Theresa Lucas, some ideas for you to consider, particularly as we head into 2020, to bring about some success in your business. First, if you want to be a successful solopreneur, expand your skill sets. Right? Because you're solely responsible for every aspect of your business, that forces you to tackle all the problems that will inevitably arise in every area. Number 2, control your brand. As a solopreneur, you are the brand. You're the one responsible for your public identity. So this means that it's up to you to promote your brand identity to the public. Very big deal. Number 3, make what you are worth. That means take the time to find out what that is. Few people in corporate America think that they're actually getting paid what they're worth. As a solopreneur, your compensation is directly related to your efforts. There are truly no limits on the income of a solopreneur. Next, have a solid plan. Just like any business, it's important that you set goals both long and short term so that you can measure your progress. To that end, you should develop a mission statement and a vision statement that you can refer to down the road. Your plan needs to include, 1, how you're going to grow your business. 2, how are you planning for that growth, right? So it's one thing to grow your business. It's another thing to have a plan for when you inevitably grow. Number 3, how do you plan to create passive income? Find out what passive income is. Okay. Number 4, will you be expanding by adding additional products or services? Next, you don't have to go it alone. There are a ton of other solopreneurs out there willing to take on the task that you can't or just don't want to do. Also, find an association to become a part of. Don't be afraid to pivot. Be willing to adjust your priorities, goals, and even your vision of the company to correspond with these changes, right? Whatever the market demands is what you need to be providing, not just the thing that you want to do. After all, this is one area where you as a solopreneur have a huge advantage over your larger competitors. You can pivot. Last, this is the best friend of solopreneurs, and that's automation. You should always try and automate as much of the work as possible. Use email autoresponders to market to customers. Use sales funnels to acquire customers and sell products. Use social media scheduling software to make regular posts.
Phenomenal. Stay with us online at Black Wall Street Today on Facebook and Black Wall Street Today on Instagram. And then follow us on Twitter as well at BWS Today. We look forward to talking again next week. Have a wonderful week. I have said and I will continue to say that the most important priority for the Black community is the Black community, not a particular political party.
Phenomenal. Hey, yo, when I say black, you say Wall Street. Black Wall Street. When I say black, you say Wall Street. Black. When I say black, you say Wall Street. Black. When I say black, you say Wall Street. Black. Black Wall Street. Black Wall Street.
Phenomenal.
that Bacardi.